it with music, beautiful music. Hello, I'm Fred Miller, and this is yet another lecture in song. And before we sing the songs of the warm months, a little bit about me. I was born in Albuquerque, had a wonderful classical piano teacher, loved classical music, loved grand opera. And then, right on my 13th birthday, the Beatles arrived, and so classical music had to make a little room for the great rock songs of the 60s. And I was very devoted to the top 40 for most of my high school years, all of it. And then the summer after I graduated, a friend showed me an article about a big rock festival taking place in upstate New York, and that lineup was so incredible. We both said, let's do it. And we were up for an adventure, and we hitched most of the way from New Mexico to the Woodstock Festival. He even showed up very prominently there in the poster. I had a sense it couldn't possibly get better than that. In fact, history has borne out that Woodstock was the peak of it. That was the greatest age of the rock age. I wanted to be a musician. I never wanted to be a rock musician. Never thought I would have any attraction to that. I loved the music. I went to college very briefly. I didn't feel I was cut out to be a classical musician either. I didn't know what. A musician. I knew that much. I left college, toured around the country a bit in my VW Bug, and finally settled in Greenwich Village. And then somebody gave me an album of Ella Fitzgerald singing Cole Porter. The search was over. That was it. That is it. The Great American Songbook, they call it. Gershwin, Porter, Kern, Rogers, Berlin, Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Ethel Merman, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby. The great golden age of American popular music. I came up with the idea of a lecture in song as my way of doing this music. Each lecture is a profile of a great personality or some aspect of American popular music, of course, including the songs, and the songs. I started initially thinking, well, I'll just do performers and singers and songwriters, so that would be it. So I thought maybe 10, 12 programs, but over the years, it's expanded to more than 2 categories, but now 7 categories and 75 different lectures in song, with a few more to come. All described in detail at fredmillermusic.com. This program is definitely under the holiday category. It is spring into summer in both senses. Spring and summer. All these songs, somehow or the other, the reason I've chosen them, you don't notice it, but each one makes mention of either summer or spring or green growing things. Well, let's start with a quote, and most appropriately from Henry David Thoreau. Measure your health by your sympathy with morning and spring. If there is no response in you to the awakening of nature, if the prospect of an early morning walk does not banish sleep, if the warble of the first bluebird does not thrill you, know that the morning and spring of your life are past. Thus may you feel your pulse. And from his conquered neighbor, Ralph Waldo Emerson, spring still makes spring in the mind when 60 years are told. Love wakes anew this throbbing heart, and we are never old. Let's let Johnny Mercer and Jean DePaul take it. Oh, the barnyard is busy in a regular tizzy. The obvious reason is because of the season. Ma Nature's lyrical with her yearly miracle. It's spring, spring, spring. All the henfolk are hatching while the menfolk are scratching to ensure the survival of each brand new arrival. East nest is twittering, they're all babysitterin'. It's spring, spring, spring. It's the beehive of button son and daughter life. Every family has plans in view. Even down in the brook, the underwater life is forever blowing bubbles too. Every field wears the bonnet with some spring daisies on it. Even birds of a feather show their clothes off together. Sun's getting shinery to spotlight the finery. It's spring, spring, spring. Rodgers and Hammerstein. The things I used to like, I don't like anymore. I want a lot of other things I've never had before. It's just like Mother says. I sit around and mope, pretending I am wonderful, and knowing I'm a dope. I'm as restless as a willow in a windstorm. I'm as jumpy as a puppet on a string. I'd say that I had spring fever, but I know it isn't spring. I'm starry-eyed and vaguely discontented, like a nightingale without a song to sing. Oh, why should I have spring fever when it isn't even spring? I keep wishing I were somewhere else, walking down a strange new street.